Everybody, welcome to a brand new mini-series of Space Engineers. So, we're going to be playing some Elven Engineers. So, let me just explain really quickly what the series is going to be about. So, I've set up a little platform to start us out, because I didn't feel like starting from the bare basics again. So, I decided that it would be nice to get a little bit of a quick start. So, this is the Christmas platform. So, basically, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a Christmas-themed event for Christmas, obviously, since it's December. I don't know how long this series is going to be. I don't know if it's going to last until the end of the month. Probably not. It might be finished in like 6 episodes. It might be finished in 60. That'd be kind of crazy, but I don't know. So, let me explain the objective of the series. So, all over the map I've got waypoints of presents. So, basically the idea is that I put presents scattered throughout the solar system. And by solar system I mean Earth, Moon, Mars. I think I put one on Europa. There's like 3 on Alien and 1 on Titan. So our goal is to get these presents, round them up, and take them to the Christmas station, which is all the way over there. So we have quite a bit of work ahead of us, obviously. Getting these things, most of them are in the ground. Some of them, I think all of them are at least partially in the ground. Some of them are pretty far in, so we're going to have to make an excavation machine. But I've set up a little platform here, so we've got a refinery with a bunch of yield modules on it to start us off. We've got an assembler with 4 speed modules on it, and 2 fully charged batteries, 4 hydrogen engines. I don't really want this to be a challenging playthrough, more of just a fun playthrough. It's also completely vanilla. There's no mods, at least as far as I remember. I don't think I installed any mods. So yeah, that's basically the whole gist of the series. So we're going to have to make vehicles that are able to pick up... Presents are pretty large, so we're going to have to make vehicles that are able to pick up presents and kind of carry them back to here for now. Obviously, we're going to need to get to the Christmas station to start off with, but probably want to go... Our first objective is probably just to find some basic resources, because even though I have all this stuff pre-made, I still need resources, so... we will probably start with that. So let's go ahead and look around here and see if we find any resources. I'm not seeing any discoloration. Oh, I didn't make bottles for myself, did I? Am I gonna have to spawn in bottles? I didn't think about that. No, because I do have an O2 generator. It's fine. Or wait. Oh, but I don't have bottles. Yeah, I may need to spawn in bottles. That might be an issue. Hopefully we can find an orb that can make us bottles before I have to resort to spawning things in, because I didn't even think about that, because I won't be able to fly. And considering we're on a mountaintop, I kind of need to fly, so it would be pretty unfortunate if I wasn't able to. Okay, yeah, hang on. I'm going to have to spawn in a bottle. 1 second. Let me, what is it, Shift of 10? Yeah. Where is it? Cosmic coffee? Nope. I guess I'll spawn in 2, since that's what you usually start with 2. I only spawn in 1. Weird. Cool. There's so many different keys to do stuff. But yeah, we'll just spawn in some models here, because otherwise I'm gonna run out. I should have done that in the first place. Let me disable this. But yeah, I meant to do that beforehand, and I completely forgot. So let me go ahead and put... Can I even access these things in inventory? I can. I think, maybe. I can access this one's inventory. So let me go get some ice really quick, and I can use that one instead. The bottom one. But yeah, so I'm hoping for the series to be pretty simple. I don't know how long it's going to be. Just something I decided to quickly set up. But our goal is to bring every present back to the Christmas station so that they can be delivered to their proper place. I don't know what happened to Santa. He really, really messed up. He gave the reindeer a little too much Red Bull, and they shot... Some of them went on the Earth, but unfortunately the wrong Earth, I guess, since this doesn't have any actual housing or people in it. There we go. Much better. Doesn't let me double click, which is weird. Alrighty, so let's see if we can't find some ores here. Yeah, here we go. Don't worry. I got bottles this time. Are we going to be able to find anything? I didn't think this would be an issue. I'm not finding any ores, though. No discoloration. Not yet, anyway. I don't see any discoloration. This could be a problem. This could be an issue if we're not finding any ore. Uh-oh. I think we'll find something. It might just be really far away, unfortunately. Which might suck, but that's okay. What about this moss here? No. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. But yeah, our first goal is probably going to be to make a mining ship, because we still need that. We're still going to have to run through the basic motions of Space Engineers, just not... it's not going to be like getting off Gaia. Okay, there's some silicon. Some silicon, magnesium, which hopefully we won't need magnesium. There are no drone mods on. I know there's still pirates, but I don't know how much they do. Silicon, magnesium, thank you, game. Anything else? Or is that it? More silicon. Ice, yes, thank you, game. I was not aware that there was ice there. Thank you. Very cool. Oh, you know what? I also had time of day offset slightly set, so let me just change that. Or did I actually? I don't think I did. It looked like it was reset at some point. I don't remember resetting it, but okay. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll maybe if this is a fun thing to do, I might do it again, but make it so that every person is. See, I kind of wanted to make the presents be protected with like guns, make that a challenge. But the problem I saw was like, what if you accidentally shoot the present and then you break it? Like that's the only thing I guess you could make the present neutral or even on your faction, but then again, like the turrets might shoot you. I don't know. It might be outside of my area of expertise. This was something super easy and simple to set up, and I thought, sure, why not? I built the station in maybe a couple hours, built the presents in, you know, short time. But I was like, yeah, it's a simple idea, but it should be something to keep me occupied for a while and be a good Christmas-themed event for Space Engineers. But I'm still not finding any iron, which is what we need. Or do we need iron? What do we actually need? Well, we definitely need iron, because obviously we want to make steel plates. You always need iron in every single Space Engineers playthrough, literally ever. Is that discoloration I see? I think it is. Oh, that's a discoloration. I've been lied to. Okay, we have to go a little lower. I feel like I might be missing some of that. Do the mountains... I don't know if the mountains normally have ores. I don't think they do. They're not... I don't really feel like I found a lot of ores. Wow, this is a really cool area. I could make the Christmas platform here. This is a sick area. Ooh, I don't have signal. We're probably going to get that. Well, maybe. We're going to get going pretty quickly here because of the fact that I have made... Wow, this area looks super, super cool. This area looks so cool. But yeah, I'm probably not going to have to worry about, materials too much. Once we get anything, it's going to be, once we get a mining ship up, the fact that we have a yield module already is going to be pretty good. And all those hydrogen engines are full, so that should last us a while. We may want to work on other power solutions, but at the same time, I don't know that we'll need them because we might just be able to get to space. Because like this is completely vanilla, no scarce ores, so we'll be able to get uranium on the planet. Oh, there's some gold. Oh, one thing wait, no, you don't need to because jump drives are part of the base game, aren't they? At least I think they are, right? No, jump drives are definitely part of the base game. There it is. I don't know why it didn't show. I was like, I know it is. Yeah, so we don't need that. I was thinking of hyperdrives. That's the part of the base game. We don't need those. We just need jump drives, because going from planet to planet without them would be pretty hellish, to be honest. Would not be fun. Not really want to do that. Wow, this area is so cool. But it's not really It's not really very Christmassy, which is what I was kind of going for. Oh, and I might want to make oxygen bottles too, actually. I didn't think about that. I may have to spawn those in, because we still haven't found enough resources to actually make any bottles. How have I not found any resources at all? This is super crazy. Scarce Ores is not installed. I don't know why it's doing this. Alright, let me go back to the Christmas platform. Wow, you went pretty far as well. Jeez. You went really far. That's crazy. I should probably change the world's name so it's not just star system. It's a little boring. Ah, there we go. These are the materials we need. Okay. Perfect. Iron, nickel. We could probably start harvesting some of these materials now because I don't think that it'll be much of an issue. Or, yeah, iron, nickel, and silicon are the basic 3 materials you kind of need in this game. So, I guess I could have gotten stone, but don't really want to do that. Yeah, we're gonna need to make a mining ship. Pretty, you know, I might get a few mods. I might get a few quality of life mods. I already missed the mod that automatically collects ore. I immediately noticed it was gone. I was like, oh, yeah, that mod is pretty nice to have. Pretty nice. But yeah, I think our closest present is, they're all pretty far away. 42 kilometers, 106, that's on the moon probably. 45, that's on the Earth. 62, 60, I think Earth has 6. Yeah, so they're pretty far away. So we're definitely gonna have to make a ship that can last. So we might want to go to space and get reactors, or uranium for reactors first, before we actually try and attempt to get a present, because it might be easier to do it that way. Alright, let me go ahead and dump this bad boy into here. I have random components for some reason, I don't know why. Was it from, I think it was from destroy. I'm just gonna drop this stuff off, because I did not get any of this legitimately. The bottles I didn't get, but obviously you usually start with 2 bottles, so I don't think it's really cheating. I guess it is, kind of, but, I mean, the entire platform is technically cheating now that there is, like, a survival mode that you have in the game. Where did it want me to click it? Alright, so, I think the assembler is connected, yes. Alright, so let's go ahead and start making a mining ship, I guess. I think we're gonna need a couple steel plates. So, that actually got us a lot of iron, wow, okay. Okay, yeah, that should do it. Let me get, since I made it a lot of iron, let me get 30 steel plates. This isn't really a great place for us to build. It's pretty, well, for a basic mining ship, you don't really need that much. We need to get a connector on the base as well. Probably over here, since that connects to all the cargo containers. Yeah, should be pretty easy. Oh man, I put slabs on the front but not the back. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I just made it to make a simple platform to start us off because that was a lot easier than having to start from this beginning. And I don't want this to be a series about survival necessarily, but more about our goal. And I don't know what we'll do to like pick up the presents. I'm thinking about making a giant sleigh somehow, but obviously it's gonna be a little hard to have the presents just sit in there. It's probably not going to work. So we're probably going to have to connect them via connector. And they need connectors anyway because the Christmas station has connectors where they all are supposed to go. So that is the general gist, is that pretty much all of them are supposed to start with connectors. I should have given myself better welding tools. Oh well. Well, it's not that bad. We can get the welding tools that we need pretty quickly. Since we don't have scarce ores. I keep on forgetting that that's like a huge thing that I play with all the time. Or mainly, I guess, because I don't really play much besides getting off Geo series. I do a vanilla playthrough, but I kind of stopped because I'm enjoying the modded one a lot more, to be honest. A lot more interesting. Oops. Because the vanilla one's fun, but I do kind of like that the modded one gives me a lot of challenge in that I'm getting constantly attacked by drones. Even if it does piss me off a little bit, I do actually really enjoy it. Okay, we're gonna need to go one more over this way. Probably make this just a pretty ugly mining ship. I'm not exactly great at creating ships in the first place yet. So I don't know what I'll do on that note. But we need a cockpit. Oh, okay, we can't make a cockpit yet. Yeah, this is kind of awkward because we haven't made these things. So I have to fully construct a landing gear. Okay. So I'm going to have to go get that nickel that I saw. Head out. Wow, that is pretty far away, though. Well, it looks further than it actually is because we're going across mountains, but it's not actually that far. So, yeah, I don't know. It's actually not that bad. But yeah, our first goal was probably to go to space because we want uranium to have the ability to go from to have a lot of power that can sustain us. And hydrogen engines are going to space isn't really that hard in this game, and when you need the extra power, you know, it's just so much it's so much easier and like quicker to probably just go to space, get uranium, get a lot of uranium if you can, especially because, you know, this is vanilla, there's no threats, so I don't have to build a vehicle that's capable of taking fire. I can build a simple, you know, I can literally build a large cargo container, put a cockpit on it, put some thrusters on it, and have it fly up to space. So, and then I can just drill as much uranium as I can get and come back. And maybe make a few trips, or maybe just one even, because uranium is kind of an ore that is kind of, you don't really need a lot of it because it kind of refine. I feel like the return rate is pretty good. Maybe it's not though. I just don't think reactors use a lot of uranium. Like, we would really only need a ship that's capable of taking these boxes. It's gonna have to have a lot of upward thrust, obviously. But, so I'm gonna go ahead and plop this nickel in there. There we go. I think there's also a speed module, isn't there? Or did I put all yield? That's a yield. Okay, I should have put a speed module on, but that's fine. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we need 5 motors and 10 computers, I think it said. It's not that bad considering we have plenty of materials now, and plenty of iron and nickel for the time being. This might get awkward because I might need to make a refinery. I don't know. I should have probably turned off the progression tree. I might do that next episode if I remember correctly, because it's not really going to be that much of a use to us because it doesn't really make sense to have. Because we already have a pre-made base. It's going to stop us from adding on to it most likely with blocks we already have. It's going to be like, yes, please make the, please make the hydrogen engine. It's like, I already have 4. Like, I don't need to make one. It's just kind of awkward. You know what I mean? Do we need silicon as well? Yes, we do. Alright, let me drop my inventory off from here. And where did I mark this silicon at? Silicon. This one's pretty close. At least. Wait. Is it? No, it's across the mountain. Dang. They're all pretty, like, decently far away. But again, it's the mountaintops kind of gives it an illusion of being far away when it's probably not really that far. Especially in this game where you can fly for, like, pretty much for free. Especially when you're on an icy mountaintop. Surprisingly enough, we don't actually take damage from having our helmet closed. And we don't lose oxygen either. No, we do. Okay, I need to keep my helmet open then. Not enough oxygen to synthesize it or put it into my suit, I guess, but I can breathe it normally, which is very strange. Doesn't really make sense, you know what I mean? Like an environment where you can't breathe the oxygen, or you can't breathe it with a suit that's specialized in giving you oxygen, but you can breathe it. Like, that doesn't really exist. There's no environment that's like that. Because there's definitely high altitudes of the Earth. It's not like, oh yeah, with the oxygen, equipment, I couldn't breathe, but I just breathed normally, and without it, and I was fine. It's like, yeah, that's not really. It's kind of the opposite. You know what I mean? Usually, the equipment is much better at doing that than the normal human will ever be, which makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Because why would the human be better at breathing than the technology? It's kind of weird. What's even the point of technology? You know what I mean? Alright, and okay. Oops. Didn't grab it from the inventory. Cool. So I think we're gonna go get some gold, go get some silver, because we want to upgrade our tools pretty quickly. Let this finish really quick. Alright, so where did I say that gold was? Let me drop inventory off again. The silver is over here, which we're going to need that, so we may as well grab this first since I saw it. And the gold was over there. Okay, I see it. I see it. I don't appreciate lag when I'm on the the face of a cliff, you know? Alright, and I think we should be able to jump off, you know? This is deep. I'm surprised we even detected this. It's barely within range of the 50 meters of the ore detector on the drill. But I think we're gonna need, I don't know, I'm not really sure what kind of vehicle I want to make for it. Probably would be a giant sleigh. It might even be cool to get all of them at once and try and load them all up and just make a huge ass sleigh. But obviously I can't have the fluorescence be free flowing. Although, can you turn off? Okay. I'm thinking I might turn on invulnerability for the shed, or for the sled, so that I can have presence be in it, free moving, and have to keep them in, but they don't get damaged. Because otherwise that would kind of, you know, Clang would kind of ruin our day. It wouldn't really work. But I think that it could work if I turned off all damage. Especially considering the fact that we're not fighting anything. And if we are, we're not meant to be, so I might just delete it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell it's even silver. It looks like normal ore. Or normal rock. Doesn't it? Like, silver definitely kind of has a bit of a similar look to rock. Which is kind of bad. But yeah, so that should be silver, I think. Especially with the yield monsters that we have, we can go grab the gold as well. We only need a little bit right now. Obviously, you have to come back later for more, but not right now. Where's the gold? There it is. The gold is super far away. But yeah, because we'll need the gold for superconductors to make a jump drive, which is very interesting. Because in the in my other playthrough, jump drives are super rare and very endgamey material. But in this one, we're gonna get them pretty early because of how I made how I've made the progression. It's kind of cool, and I kind of like Space Engineers in that sense, in that like this and my other playthrough are almost like entirely different games. Like this plays nothing like my other playthrough because I've set it up completely different. So it's just interesting. It's very interesting. Not a lot of games you can do that with. Although Minecraft is definitely one of them. Minecraft you can have modded and it feels pretty different from vanilla for sure. But even then, I feel like all modded feels pretty similar and all vanilla feels pretty similar. So other than that, meanwhile, Space Engineers, I feel like you can do vanilla and modded. And if you set yourself an interesting goal, if you, with like Splitsies, long way down, if you decide, I'm going to make a rover and I have to drive across the world without using thrusters, the game plays pretty differently to how it would normally. Like, you can't make a mining ship, you can't just, you can't go to the moon to get uranium, or the space in general to get, I thought I was crouched, space in general to get uranium, so you're limited to hydrogen engines for the most part. And generally speaking, people avoid rovers because a lot of people think they kind of, they're pretty sucky. There's kind of no reason to really use them over ships because once you get uranium, which is pretty easy in vanilla because you just gotta get to space, which isn't that hard. Once you get to space, like I could probably go to space. I could go to space right now easily. It's pretty easy. You just need to have an O2 generator, a little bit of ice, a full hydrogen tank, hydrogen thrusters going up, and that's pretty much it. And you can gyroscope and maybe a partially charged battery, and then go find an asteroid with uranium, and then come back. Maybe even put a reactor on the ship itself, so that as soon as you get uranium, you can. Well, you need to get a refinery as well, which I mean you could do, I guess, if you wanted to. Generally, I do. Where's the platform? Okay. Generally, I do usually have. When I go into space, I make a ship that has like everything, just because I don't want to be like stuck in space. You know what I mean? But it's definitely not super like. It's not super necessary. But yeah, it's actually interesting because in this game, while you don't have to build a rocket, really, I feel like they are kind of effective because you do want a lot of upward thrust, just to get off the planet. So I like that you can't just have a ship and be... I mean, you can build a ship and have it be a lander and a spaceship, but like usually it's going to be kind of one or the other, or not necessarily that, but you have to constantly like keep that in mind. Like if you want to make a ship that can work in space and atmosphere, like you have to consciously, like, that's something you have to design for, which is cool. A lot of games I don't think would take that into account and would just be like, yeah, you can just do whatever. But this game actually takes into account like space and atmosphere are different, which is cool. I recently found out that Europa has an atmosphere, which is kind of a shock. I did not expect that. We need cobalt and platinum, I wasn't even thinking. Okay, well, we're kind of far off then. We'll have to wait on that until we find some cobalt. For now, let's finish working on this mining ship. So we're going to want to be pretty far back. We're going to want to get some... I already had a bunch of these. I'm going to want more anyway, so... We're going to want probably a couple of cargo containers, some small ones. I don't know if I will, getting off Gia will probably continue alongside the series. They'll probably like alternate. I'll release this episode, an episode of this, and then an episode of Gia, and yeah, so I'm kind of uploading them whenever I feel like it. I know that's not the best, but it's kind of, I feel like I might burn out if I try and force a video out every day, which is what I was doing before. And I edit these a little bit more to make them a little bit more enjoyable to watch, since Space Engineers is kind of a... it's a bit of a... can be very tedious. It's fun, but it can definitely be unfun to watch, if you know what I mean. Without a doubt. It can be a fun game to play, but not necessarily to watch if you don't do it right. But if you do it right, and you edit it enough, it can be fun to watch and play, yes. Especially if you have the right mods. If you have, like, mods that make, you know, a lot of combat happen, that's usually where the fun happens, because people, you know, people like to see big ships engage other big ships and all that, and the aspect of combat is always really fun to explore in this game, against, you know, pirate AI ships. It's always fun. But it definitely is something that, if you don't have it, it's definitely going to be hard to make it exciting at times. Because if you just have to go and, like, mine an ore, you have to mine an ore. That's it. You kind of are just chilling, mining an ore. Like, there's not really anything happening. It's kind of hard to commentate over it because there's nothing happening either, so... it makes it hard to commentate, which makes it not enjoyable to watch, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe people like that stuff, I don't know. At least in a solo environment, it's hard. In a multi-man environment, it's easier because you have the ability to talk with your peers and discuss stuff, and sometimes it can turn into kind of a podcast, which is kind of neat. But it can also be very dull in terms of what actually happens. Not that Space Engineers is a dull game, but it's definitely, you know, you watch someone build a ship for like a couple hours and you can definitely get a little bored, I would say. Alright, so we're probably going to want to put a connector on the back. So I guess I'll go ahead and get a tube here, or a connector maybe. Now I need to build another thing for the connector. I need to build a... Well, I was going to build a tube anyway, so I guess now or never, really. I need a couple. I need more than that, actually, but that's okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and connect these up. Or actually, maybe I don't. I only need to connect one side, actually. I don't need both sides to be connected. Because they connect through each other. Although it does kind of look nicer, but... eh. Tis what it is. Alright, so let me grab the connector now. And... oop. Yeah, so we're gonna have to connect it via... Although we could just take the cargo container and flip it. Couldn't we? Yeah, okay. We probably... Here's what we'll do. Flip the cargo containers so that their big sides are touching each other with conveyors and not their small sides. Oops. Because then you can just put a connector on the side and that'd be much easier than doing it another way. Although, that does mean I'll have to change the... oh wait, hang on. Actually, my bad. I placed it the wrong way. I don't want the small connection point to be on the top. I want it to be on the bottom. Yeah, like that. It's much better. It is much better. Because it's easier to connect it from the side than I think it is the top. Because I think I'd have to go for it. And it might also look really awkward. So I think going around the side would be better overall. Alright, I think that is the cargo container done. So we can put a connector on this. Go ahead and get the assembler to make the components that we need. This is such a useful feature, by the way. It really is. Just a shame it doesn't suck in items as fast as it could. It's always really slow at pulling things. For some reason, I don't know why. But that's how with assembler has always been. It's always kind of pulled stuff as needed when it could be pulling stuff at mass. Like, I kind of prefer we just grab all the iron instead of some of it at a time. You know? Alright, so, I'll go ahead and put a tube like so. And then put one here. Grab the straight tube version. And there. And there. Totally tubular. Cool. Okay. Now we're also going to want a place for a battery. Where the heck do we put a battery? No, we don't want to move the connector back for that. Not really. What do I need to make a battery? I need to make a... an assembler, I guess? Do I actually need to make an assembler, or do I just need to make a basic assembler? See, the problem is I've already done all this stuff. I think I'm going to make a quick cut. I'm going to disable the progression tree, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. So I've gone ahead and turned off progression, so we should be able to make progression. Okay. There we go. So no more, yeah, because it doesn't really work because we've already made this stuff. So it doesn't really make sense to keep progression on because why would I, right? Like, I've already made all this stuff before. I already have an assembler, I already have a refinery. I don't have to make a basic assembler, basic refinery. So it makes more sense to keep it off because I normally play with it on. I think it's a good idea, but not for what we're doing necessarily. Because I've already jump-started our start by giving us a base to start out with. A pretty stacked base, actually, if I do say so myself. Alright, so, and cool, there we go. So the next thing we're going to want to do is make a connector, and we're almost done, actually. Well, no, that's not true. We have to add thrusters, obviously, which, I think require grids, which means we're going to have to find cobalt. So then maybe we have to wait until next episode, actually, because we're almost out of time. I'm recording for pretty decent, recording for 34 minutes already, which is crazy, because this game eats time like it's nobody's business, man. It really does. Get some energy. Thank you, Dia. Very cool. Thank you, Beast. I think that's going to be it for today's episode, though, actually, because I think we're almost out of time, and I would just be going to Cobalt, and I think I have to end it there, which would make it pretty, honestly, a weird end. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Elven Engineers. Let me know if you guys like this idea. I think it could work. It might get repetitive is my only concern, because all we're doing is getting presents, and every present... I've only made 3 present types, which maybe isn't enough in hindsight. They're large grid, all of them, by the way. They're not small grid. Maybe, I should have made some small grid ones. Oh well, maybe next year. Or maybe I will add some if I decide to. Probably not, though. I think that this is the challenge already. It is like it is. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the first episode, I will see you in the next one. Peace.